you know, we grew up with Santeria, which is Yoruba, right?
Basically, right,
and
right.
it comes from Yoruba, which is Nigeria, which is so. You know, a lot of Latinos' background before they was indoctrinated into Christianity from the Spaniards, right? Slave master conquistadores, right? Before that, they was dealing with black orishas, black gods from West Africa, you know. And I grew up seeing that. You know, Chango, Elegua, Oshun, Ogun, all of that was, you know.
In your household?
My mom had the Aunt Jemima rag on the head, you know. She was the lightest of the light, but she still kept her African music and traditions, and you know what I'm saying? And they had the music and the songs and the chants and all that. So I grew up seeing that. You know, my mom was an oracle. You know, she would read the cards and all of that. So
hearing black man's God is like,
yeah, to me it was like making sense, because what the hell is all these black statues doing in my house? What is these African names and all that? But then they gods, and at the time they was living or whatever, and they ascended to a certain level. So it started to make kind of sense. I said, you know what? You know, I can see this having some correlation. And then just studying Egyptology and Kemetic science and how they was gods before the Greeks, because the Greeks, you know, took everything from the Egyptians. So I was like, why? What's wrong with being descendant of the root? Because if Jesus was the Son of God, and they called him the Son of Man, and we all God's children. So, you know, my mom told me, you know, she's like, you are, the word she uses, Olofi, right? So that means like, in that pantheon of gods, Olofi is Christ. But she said, tú no has ascendido. That means you haven't ascended yet. You're flesh. She said, you're God, but you're still in the physical. So, you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like, that was the dot, that was the, you know, that confirmed, like, she knew I was on some sciences or something.
Almost like calling me a little G.
Yeah, she just like chumped me and like, you a little G. I get what you're saying now, but you ain't on this level yet, because she was dealing with that as her high science. So after that, like a week or two later, she knitted. She used to knit, and she used to sew. She was a seamstress. She knitted a crown, and the crown was like a small fez, but it had a tassel, how the gods. So it looked like the god crown, and I showed the gods, and I said, yo, God said, yo, that's right and exact, God. Who made that? And the whole earth made that. Yo, whole earth made that? They was like, no. They were like, oh, she bear witness to you? I was like, I don't know if she bear. He said, yeah, she bear witness to you. So I don't know if she bear witness to me, but she gave me this crown. And then she was breaking down science as far as my grandmother coming from southern Spain, and like, you know, she's like, your grandma's Moor, you Moors. So, you know, that's another thing.
Right.
But she still had that association with Muslim. You know, it's like,
Muslim,
so she's like, we're not supposed to eat this type of meat. We don't eat crustaceans. Like, she knew all of that. And I said, how you know all of this? And you just like still trying to feed me swine? You know, but I ain't go too hard. But it was like laughing and later. But I was like, yo, she really knew the righteous laws.
The dietary laws.
Dietary laws. So I was like, how you know, but that just showed like a lot of people even in the Latin community, so they be concealing, like they be knowing certain things, and you know, press them about it, they're not going to tell you.
Wow.
You know, and but as far as her accepting who I was, as far as to the extent that I was changing, I was living. You know, she seen me fast, and and she said, "You're going to get sick. You need to eat something." And I was fasting from my lessons, you know. I was fasting from the wrong foods. She was like, "You can't do this."
She was telling you not to do it.
She said, "You can't do this. You're gonna hurt yourself." Because she didn't understand, you know. But as far as my dedication to what it was that I was into, she knew I was dedicated because I was not eating. You know what I'm saying? For at the time, because the pork kept coming up, swine kept, you know, being cooked, and I'm like, and I wasn't eating. So it was almost like I was rebelling, you know. And some brothers might have got kicked out their house for that, but my old earth wasn't like that. To be like, "Oh, you gotta get out my house." It wasn't that serious. But
she basically like questioned you and took you through it.
Because I was different. You know.
If Mecca did this.